Hello, Los Angeles, and happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend and welcome to the final one more sleep of the regular season. We have made it to the end of our 7th season in our young club's history. And with decision day tomorrow and the chance of potentially clinching the West on home soil, we've got plenty to play for despite competing against the lowly wooden spoon winning San Jose Earthquakes. We'll preview that in just a moment, but first introductions. My name is Christian Philman, otherwise known as Philly, the normal-haired flamingo. I need to do something about that. And joining me all the way from the west side, the Sultan of Shawls and the Bishop of Bufandas, the mouth of the South Bay, J.R. Liebert.
It's the scarf. What is good, Defenders Nation? That's right. This is it, the final match of the regular season. And boy, has this been a long time coming. But as you said, Philly, everything to play for on decision day. We'll break down a little bit of the math before we get into our predictions for it once again. If you didn't hear it on episode 333 of Defenders of the Bank, you'll hear about it right now. But we're at the friendly confines, Philly, BMO Stadium, where we look to defend the bank once again. And Philly, biggest game of the season for MLS purposes. Obviously, we've played a couple of other big ones this year. And I just love to say it, everything to play for on decision day.
Yeah, that we do. And look, we're taking on a team in that of the San Jose Earthquakes that literally has nothing to play for. A team that, well, we beat last time, a team that we've scored 6 goals on, and I'll mention why that's important later on, but also a team that has beaten us too earlier this season going back to May 4th. And so the big question looming on decision day that everybody has in their minds, will we see Carlos Vela? Now, there are a couple of interesting things that came up during Steve's press conference earlier on today. Our buddy that's normally in the press conference and a hell of a writer, by the way, Josh Gross, asked if everybody is back from international competition and healthy. Steve said Kike and Denny are still traveling. They'll get here tomorrow, which who knows how that's going to factor into decision day personnel. And then Josh asked him again, any chance on decision day we see Carlos? And Steve said it's possible. And then Josh Gross went back and asked him, well, you haven't said that yet, so is this an update on his progress? And Steve cheekily said, we are further down the road. So that tells me, and this is the most positive thing that Steve has said about Carlos Vela since Carlos announced his return. If Steve is being this way and speaking, and if you can find the video, go back and look at it, there is a sheepish, sarcastic grin that he has on his face. I think we see Carlos Vela tomorrow, Defenders.
Philly, you and I talked about on episode 233. It was the last thing I asked about before we signed off. And you and I and many of you in the chat all agreed. 80th minute or so, get your popcorn ready, because that could be when we see our boy Carlitos back at BMO on the pitch in the house that Carlos almost literally built. I think he'll be coming back for one more match. It's going to be quite the evening on decision day. Philly mentions that we scored 6 goals against San Jose. Let's do a very quick rundown before we get into what we think will happen in this match. Let's do a rundown of what needs to happen in order for LAFC to win the West. First and foremost, Philly, we have to win, and Carson has to lose. If anything else happens, if anybody ties or if anybody doesn't win and lose, that's all over but the shooting match. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, but a point for them is good.
Yeah, there's one other small wrinkle, though, Philly. You mentioned it's significant that we scored goals against San Jose in bunches. We're going to have to do that again.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that again. Because obviously there's so many different goal tiebreakers when it comes down to it. Obviously, the goal diff is a thing. The wins against is a thing. And Scarf really went into depth and into it on the last episode. Not entirely sure how in depth he wants to go back through it again. But look, if we lose, it doesn't matter. We're cooked. If they tie or win, it doesn't matter. We're cooked. But if they lose and we win, and I believe we need at least 2 above,
yeah.
or 2.
So here's the deal. One of us needs to, if we win and they lose, one of us needs to do it by 2 or more.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly why I brought up the 6-2 shellacking that we had against San Jose, because we are very capable of scoring goals in bunches against this side. But if Denny and Kike are going to be late getting to BMO because they are landing tomorrow, they're currently in transit, that takes away a good portion of your goal scores. So that really leaves things up to Matty Bogusz, Olivier Giroud, dare I say maybe even Olivier Sanchez, but that's the question. Where are the goals going to come from?
Listen, I can't wait, because if you're telling me that Denny Bwanga is flying from a large distance away and then coming to BMO, that means Denny Bwanga scores, people. We know it's happened last time. He got off the plane, 18 hours of flying, whatever it was, came in the latter stages of a match, put one in the back of the net. I'm loving that Denny Bwanga is just getting back. I don't know that I love that for Kike Oliveira, but what we know is Denny Bwanga might actually be a cyborg or an android or something not real of this world, because he is an absolute machine. And we know if he's at BMO Stadium and there's a match playing, he's going to jump on. It doesn't matter if it's the band members of Iron Maiden getting a little kickabout before they play a show, or if it's LAFC playing against San Jose. We know Denny Bwanga is going to come with his shooting boots on, ready to go. I absolutely love it. One other small scenario, Philly, I want to mention. Everybody should also be watching the Columbus Crew, because if Columbus Crew loses or draws and we win, that means we host every Eastern Conference team except for Miami, because let's go over the tiebreakers. First tiebreaker is wins. And with Carson losing and us winning, we tie them on wins at 19. But more importantly, with us winning, we go to 19 wins, which is more than anything that Columbus has. So we would automatically overtake them on the wins tiebreaker if they tie or lose. If they tie, we'll both be tied on 64 points, but we'll have the tiebreaker in wins. If they lose, it won't matter, because they won't have enough points if we win. So that's a scenario that we don't have to worry about. 64-63 on points. So something else to look out for. If Columbus upsets Miami, or anybody else upsets Miami and Columbus winds up playing for the final, wouldn't it be great, Philly, poetic justice, that we get to host Columbus this time at the final at our house?
No, it would be fantastic. And that means we'd all be shelling out a lot more money, but we'd also be really thrilled in the process. A lot going on in Los Angeles as of late. Obviously, LAFC on decision day, playoffs. We have home field advantage, so we don't have to worry about going on the road. And obviously, the Dodgers are now going to be hosting the Mets on Sunday and Monday. So much going on, so many activities, so many different bets to make, so many tickets to buy, so much money to spend. This is the fun part about living in a city like this, is there's always something going on. We're not in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where the highlight of the day is to see how the Rail Riders are working, and that's the AAA affiliate for the New York Yankees. And by the way, they had a pretty darn good game today too. But so much going on, and so it's Friday night. I'm sure y'all got plenty going on. So we should just start getting into the slides.
Let's do it. All right, folks. First, we talk about our players to watch. I don't know how the effects are going to work. I don't think they're going to work on this. So here we go. My 2 players to watch. I'm going to go first with Denny Bwanga, because you told me, Philly, he's stepping off a plane. And I still think, as long as he's within shouting distance, that golden boot race might not quite be over yet. He's down, 4 in the golden boot race, I think, 23-19. But it's going to take an epic performance from Denny Bwanga. So I figure, why not? Why not? Let's give it a shot. Denny Bwanga, look, it's low-hanging fruit, as we have often picked Denny Bwanga for much of what we do. But I think we might see a goal or two from Denny, especially because he's getting off a plane. And yes, if Denny Bwanga does score 4 and Christian Benteke does not score at all, Denny Bwanga wins the Golden Boot because of his assist total this year, which is pretty great, which would be kind of cool. San Jose's got a 6'3" dude, Amal Pellegrino, who in spurts Amal Pellegrino gives you a lot of problems. He's tall, he's lanky, he loves to shoot. The problem with Amal Pellegrino that I have found in watching him play over the last couple of times with San Jose is you only get his best effort for about 25 to 33% of the match. I just don't see him up and down the pitch that a player of his skill might want to do. He's 34 years old. He is playing for a contract for next season or for playing time next year. This is going to be a gutted roster around just a couple of guys. Maybe Jeremy Abobasi stays. We know Christian Espinoza is a generational talent. We might hear about him in a second. And look, I love Hernan Lopez. I think he's going to be a very good player if he likes it here in MLS. But having an Amal Pellegrino, a guy who does score goals for them, only show up for about a third of the match, it's something that I think we might see the best match of Amal Pellegrino this season. And the dude is 6'3", so always a problem on set pieces. I tried to dig a little deeper for this one, so that's why I'm going with Amal Pellegrino.
Surprised you didn't mention his Tanzanian roots. You know, a lot of greatness comes out of Tanzania. Freddie Mercury, for example, comes into mind when you think of Tanzania. My buddy Doug's honeymoon comes into mind when I think of Tanzania. A lot of cool things coming out of Tanzania. And apparently Pellegrino, not the Italian mineral water, it also comes from Tanzania.
Yeah, now, there you go. All right, really?
Yeah.
No, your players to watch. Here we go.
Yeah, you might need to change the slide, though, producer Scarf. Scarf is the producer for today, not Panda. And at a later date, we'll explain what happened to me. Something really messed up happened to me about an hour ago, like really, really messed up. But I'm not going to talk to you all about that yet. It'll be at a later date once it all settles in. So for LAFC, look, it's going to, that one's simple. It's Matty Bogusz for me. He scored that cheeky goal 32 seconds in. Look, second time he scored an open goal as quickly as he did. And his 15th regular season goal of the year, 19th in all competitions, just behind Denis Bouanga, who I am going to lovingly call Denny the Destroyer from here on out. Matty is the guy right now. When Kike Oliveira and Denny aren't there, you got to go to Matty, the second leading scorer on this team. That's a no-brainer. As far as San Jose is concerned, absolutely. It's Christian Espinoza. Against us, the guy takes care of business. He's had 16 goal contributions in all competitions against us. 4 goals, 12 assists. He leads the San Jose Earthquakes in terms of assists. And he's hit a lot of milestones as of late. He recently became the all-time Quakes leader in games with 2 or more assists. Awesome stat. He's got 14 game-winning goals, which is tied for second most in club history. And here's another interesting stat for you, Scarf. And then I gotta throw another interesting thing at you. He's extended his run of consecutive MLS regular season games played to 108. The streak is not only a San Jose Earthquakes record, but the 6th longest in Major League Soccer history and 3rd among all field players. He's 1 game away from passing Darlington Nagbe for 5th all-time and 2nd among all field players. Now, Scarf, if you can tell me who the player is, the field player, not the most player, I'll tell you that is, who the field player is with most consecutive regular season MLS games played, do you know who that might be?
I mean, I'm just thinking about guys who have been around the league for forever. I'm gonna throw one out. I don't know if this is right or not. I'm gonna throw one out. 2 names come to mind: either Kyle Beckerman or like a Dax McCarty. Who you got?
I mean, not even somebody of that like reputation. I'll give you another hint. He was a former Indiana Hoosier.
Lee Wynn.
No, Chris Klein.
Chris Klein.
Chris Klein has played in the most consecutive MLS games in regular season history as a field player, 141. And that was a record that went from June 11th, 2005 till September 19, 2009. So Espinoza's got some work to do to catch up with him. But anyway, if you're wondering who the all-time leader is, it would be a former New Jersey Energy drink keeper, Luis Robles. So that's the player I'm looking out for. The guy is I mean, he's without a doubt not only San Jose's best player, but one of the best players in Major League Soccer, no question. And his accolades and his stats continue on. San Jose would be a bunch of schmucks to not hang on to him, or obviously they would make a pretty penny on a fire sale. But Christian Espinosa, Matt Bogusz, long story long.
No, look, you're probably picking the two most dynamic players out there, depending on what we see from Kiki Oliveira. But either way, Christian Espinosa is a guy with the ball at his feet, even if it's not just a guy you have to account for no matter where he is on the pitch. All right, keys to the match. Philly's going to like this one. My keys to the match are run them up and fill them in. That's right. LAFC needs to run them up and fill them in. For all of you Shoresy fans out there, that's also for you. Look, it's real simple. Run them up means score as many goals as possible. There is no love lost between these two teams. And if we can put one on San Jose, and I mean put one on San Jose, let's make it 4, 5, 6, 7, score a touchdown with the extra point if we need to on these boys. But the other thing that we need to make sure we do is to fill them in. That means get physical. LAFC at times has been able to take it to certain teams, but most of the time when we play San Jose, they tend to get pretty physical with us. So for our boys to be successful in this match tomorrow, it's not only a bunch of goals, it's playing a physical style of football that we are going to need to maintain throughout the course of the playoffs. And oh, by the way, with nobody on yellow card accumulation, yes, we have players who will accumulate a fine from MLS, but nobody that can be suspended for the playoffs with yellow card accumulation. As long as we don't do something stupid like pick up a red, we can be physical. So that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing we need to do. Run them up, but let's also make sure we fill them in.
Hey, that's so similar to my last name. Yeah, no, I'm going to echo that in just slightly different verbiage. It's going to be end it early and make it rain. Now, San Jose, believe it or not, in all competitions, actually has a pretty good record when they score first. They've only got 6 wins on the season. They've only won 2 games on the road, but anytime they score first, at least in regular season MLS play, 5-5-2. So that's not as awful as their record indicates. And their record, defenders, yes, it truly is awful. They're 6-24-3. They've got 40 goals for, 75 goals allowed, a -35 goal differential, and a 2-12-2 record on the road. They're not too far off, by the way, from beating FC Cincinnati. The record for most goals allowed belongs to FC Cincinnati, created back in 2019, and that's 79. San Jose's at 75. LAFC did put up 6 on them back June 22nd. Just saying. We need to end things early, and we need to make it rain because, as we said, we at least need to have a +2 in that category if Carson is to lose. So I think that we are going to make it rain and end things early, especially on the final home game of the season.
Yeah, by the way, the chat is now realizing that the player availability report is out. I do want to mention, I think we might see one other player, Philly, at the 80th minute mark tomorrow, and that might be Jesus Murillo, to see how he's feeling, how he's moving around. Lorenzo De La Valle is the only one on the injury report, according to MLS, for tomorrow. I can't wait to see if Muri can give us some minutes. He's obviously going to need to play his way back into game shape. Not anywhere near 45. Don't expect him at the half, but maybe we get a little Murillo and Vela return at the same time tomorrow. Could be interesting.
Yeah, just Erica in the chat asks about Vela. I mentioned earlier that during the press conference today, Steve said there's a possibility and that Carlos has progressed further on. It's probably his cute way of saying, yeah, he's going to play tomorrow. He's never said anything more than you'll have to ask Carlos. We'll have to wait and see. A possibility, and he's progressed further along. To me, those are all buzzwords that he's going to play. No guarantee yet, but that's what was stated in the press conference earlier today.
I'm with you. This is the boring part of our One More Sleep, folks, because both Philly and I have a little bit in common on this one. I think I'll go first. Whoops, maybe. There we go.
See, it's not just me, defenders.
It's no. I'll go first with my 3-0 prediction. I'm hoping for him, man. I want Kai Kamara to get one more. I really do. I absolutely look. We have all fallen in love with number 23. Kai Kamara is fast becoming not just a fan favorite, but an all-time great dude in the history of our club. Just an amazing human. Love the guy. I want to see him get one more. And I do think that Kike Oliveira and Denis Bouanga will both light the lamp as well for LAFC. I think that we're going to play an inspired defensive match in this game. I really do. I predicted 2 clean sheets for Ugo down the stretch, and here comes the second one right here. So I'm loving a 3-0 scoreline. Philly, why do you think it's going to be a 3-0 scoreline?
Because in my little world of sports fandom, things are never easy. They always go down to the wire, and I'm not going to get onto a soapbox about a certain team from Queens. I won't. But if there's ever a team that I root for that gives me any kind of, peace in a lot of ways, and that has given the most success in the last several years, is LAFC. So we need them to win, which I believe firmly they're going to do. And we needed them to at least have more than 2. I think they're going to give us 3 to give us peace of mind. They give me peace of mind at the very least. I don't even care who scores. It could be Matty Bogusz. It could be Ali for all I care. Could be Kike. It could be Kike Hernandez coming in for Kike Oliveira. I can care less who scores. As long as that we get the goal mark that we can and everything happens the way it does. Look, we obviously don't control everything. If Carson wins, we're done. But if they lose and we have our 3, we're shooing. So that's what I want. I want us to win at home. I want, obviously, the other team to lose, as I always do, and I probably shouldn't say that very often. But I want the assurance that, we're gonna be Western Conference champions. So in order to do that, we need at least 3.
Yeah, it's got to be awkward to think they've got everything ready to celebrate the Western Conference Championship at BMO tomorrow, right? There's going to be the little banner thing they roll out. There's probably going to be some champagne and some other stuff just kind of sitting there just in case, And look, it's at best a coin flip, but I'm putting this out there in the universe. We do have Latif Blessing playing for Houston Dynamo.
I love this.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
How cool would it be, defenders? 1-1 going into stoppage time, and it's Latif, the star man playing on the right, the game changer who gets a goal late for Houston to kick Carson out of first place, to propel LAFC. I mean, there's so many cool things that could happen. Or you know what, Philly? We could have a redo of 2020? What was it? 2019? When it was 2020, right? Or 2021. I'm having trouble.
I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say.
When we went to Colorado, and
that was 2021.
2021, where we laid an egg in Colorado. Carlos is actually right. Here, I'm going to put that on screen. We laid an egg in Colorado, but then the Schadenfreude, delighting in the misery of others. We watched as Carson also got eliminated at the death. Who knows? But the fun part is, Philly, again, everything to play for, man. Everything to play for.
Yeah, everything to play for, absolutely. And look, this expanded playoff format obviously has changed quite a bit. Like 18 teams are going to qualify for the playoffs. The top 9 from the East, top 9 from the West. And as it's going to stand out, seeds 1 through 7 in each conference are going to automatically qualify for the first round best of 3. Seeds. You'll have to forgive me. That was a Hagrid cameo. Oh, Hagrid. Yeah, and then seeds 8 through 9 in each conference will qualify for the wild card matches, and then wild card is going to be taking place right away. We're talking Tuesday and Wednesday, and then that'll mean that after that's done, round 1 best of 3 series is going to take place between Friday, October the 25th. Friday, October 25th, and Sunday, November 10th. So that means to y'all, make sure you pay very close attention if you are a LAFC season ticket holder. I forget whether it's the opt-in or the opt-out clause, whatever, but just keep in mind that your accounts are going to be charged within the next couple of days, if not already. Scarf, you might have a better idea about that.
Yeah, we haven't been charged.
That's on the horizon as well.
Yeah, haven't been charged for anything yet. But folks, remember, for LAFC, 99% of the time, it is opt out. You have to tell them not to take your money. So be ready. For LAFC, it is opt out. And by the way, Philly, that's 62% of the teams in Major League Soccer make the playoffs. 60.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot.
Percent. That's kind of ridiculous, but I do love the 8-9 wild card playoff game format. It keeps a lot more teams into it late. Still the last two playoff spots to be decided in the East. The West is all wrapped up. It's just a matter of seeding at this point. And Philly, one last thing. That yellow card that our boy Vanny got towards the end of the match, that meant that the coach received a yellow card accumulation suspension for decision day. Vanny Sartini didn't want to be there for the final regular season match.
That's funny.
Oh, man. All right. I love Vanny Sartini. Philly's got 3-0. I've got 3-0. There will be a full-fledged LAFC-supported fan fest out at Christmas Tree Lane.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh. There's going to be no space for all the SGs and for defenders and for others to tailgate, because this actually they're expecting it to be like the biggest one they've ever had in terms of space out there. So it's going to be interesting. It's how the club makes a lot of money, though, guys. So no
question. Yeah, Fan Appreciation Day. I think that means like 50% off on all concessions other than King Hawaiian. I assume there'll be some drink specials as well. I don't know them off the top, and I know I shared it on the Defender story, but I can't click it because I'll just click into our own chat, and then that just seems like a waste of time. But no, it should be a good day. Defenders, though, I have to say, I'm going to miss you. I'm not going to be there tomorrow. On one of the rare occasions, I'm going to miss a home game. And it's not for any reason other than, well, I'm working. I'm calling a game on ESPN Plus. UC Riverside hosting UC Davis Aggies. And this is towards the end of men's soccer Big West play. And UCR is very, very much involved in things. So I'm not going to be there. And but I wish you all the best. Scarf's there. You have a shot with him. Panda will be there, so you could bust her chops. But yeah, I'm not going to be there, and I'm going to miss y'all. And because I'm not going to be there, I know that my prediction is going to come true. We are going to win 3-0. Carlos Vela will come back onto the pitch, and we will win the West while I am out. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that.
There you go. I love it. Philly's got 3-0. I've got 3-0. We'll be out at Christmas Tree Lane. It's going to be a trick-or-treat kind of spooky themed tailgate out there, guys. So that could be kind of fun as well. Make sure you come out, say hi. We'll even let you order some merch from defendersofthebank.com shop right there in front of us if you want. That could be a lot of fun. So again, our thanks to everybody in the chat, everybody on all our different social media handles, everybody on Instagram. I was supposed to be handling the thing on the chat, but I can only do too many things at once. And that being said, y'all, we love you very much. We'll see you out there tomorrow, and then we'll be back for episode 334 on Sunday. Hold on. There's a button that I'm supposed to press a thing, and here we go.
Again, it's not just me.
No, I got it.